that this is a related story. Nintendo was asked during one of their shareholder meetings, how come you don't have, what are you doing with, I want more Switch 2 exclusives, like the games that only run on Switch 2 and don't run on Switch 1, which I think for the most part has been my biggest complaint about the Switch 2 is I could play all of these games on the Switch 1 already with very few exception. And Mr. Furukawa, who is the president of Nintendo, he said, I believe it's important that we consider how to expand the entire software business, including titles for both Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2, instead of focusing only on the sales of Nintendo Switch 2 software. So my question to you guys is, do you think that this is because Nintendo knows that adoption for the Switch 2 is slowing down, and it's slowing down not just because the Nintendo Switch 2 is about to have its price go up $50 in September, but because people just have less freaking money right now. Like everything is making people tighten their wallets, tighten their belts. And so Nintendo's saying, you know what? If we focus on Nintendo Switch 2 and people can't afford to get a Nintendo Switch 2, we're going to hurt our business overall. Or do you think it's because console generation, like the lines between the generations, have just been blurrier and blurrier over the last few gens? Jimmy, what do you think?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'll let Paris is going to say what I was going to say.
Oh, it's all the above of what you're saying. It's literally everything that you just said. But I do think the urgency right now is, again, I said it in the when I freaked out about the Steam Deck price. I said it then. I was like, people are just going to keep what they got. People are not going to run out and go buy new hardware. They're going to keep what they have. And if people aren't adopting new hardware, then you got to make these games run on the old hardware because that's where the people are. So this goes on, obviously, beyond just Switch into Xbox and PlayStation as well, because the prices have gone up. People don't have disposable income anymore across the board. And to your point, the lines have started to blur anyways. Like, I can give you a great example with Modern Warfare 4 for Call of Duty. We're in 2026 and we're finally getting a Call of Duty that is no longer playable on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. So look how long that took. So this, again, to what you're saying, Nintendo's looking at it and going, we know we have, isn't there like over 100 million Switches out there? Probably more than that, right? But we have all these customers that have these devices in their hands. Let's make sure these games still run on those devices. And if you look at Nintendo's history, this isn't unprecedented for them, because I remember when the Wii came out, that Zelda that came out during that time was still playable. You could play it on the GameCube. And I think even...
Oh, right, yeah.
There was another...
Princess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and Zelda Breath of the Wild did the same thing. It was on the Wii U and the Switch.
Right. So obviously not the entire library. They were kind of cross-gen, but they were making sure their big game that they knew was going to do big numbers was available on the most devices they could possibly, have it on. And I think this has now been heightened even more because of just everything that's going on right now, where, yeah, you probably should have your games available on the legacy hardware if possible, because there's more opportunity for someone to go buy it that way.
Yeah.
Jimmy, anything to add to that?
I think they saw how many people stuck with their PS4 this generation and how long they did, and are like, I mean, yeah. And if they can get it up and running, like Paris said, there's 150 million Switches out there, and a lot of the audience on the Switch is casual, right? Like, they got the biggest spike when Animal Crossing came out. Those are the people who are going to wait forever to upgrade, right? Like, until they have a reason, like the next Animal Crossing, to buy a Switch 2. They're just going to stick with the Switch. And if the thing's just sitting there, like, why? And you can get the game ported to it, why not? Make the money.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Chris.
and you know what the reason used to be to finally upgrade? The price would drop.
Yeah.
And that's not happening anymore. So people are holding off even longer before they actually upgrade hardware.
Dude, I just saw an ad from 2017 Black Friday where you could get a PS4 with Uncharted 4 or Call of Duty Infinite Warfare for $250. And I was like, that's not even 10 years ago. It's on the edge of 10 years ago, but that's not even 10 years ago. That's crazy.
I know.
Very. Do you guys think that do you think there's a silver lining here in that means that games will start targeting weaker hardware? Like we already saw Larian Studios said because of the RAM shortage, we have to, how did they phrase it? We have to start optimizing our game way sooner than we would normally do in the pipeline. Do you think that this huge pain in the ass that we have now could mean better optimized games so that when you sit down, you don't need as much power to play those games?
If there's a silver lining, that is it, because I think that's what's going to happen, especially as we start transitioning into this next generation of gaming, which allegedly is going to start happening next year. It's going to be all over again. People are going to keep the hardware that they have right now, but games like The Witcher 4 and obviously Grand Theft Auto 6 and all these things that are going to start coming out over the next few years, the devs are going to have to make sure that they're playable on current gen hardware. I was just talking about this the other day. Gen 9, which is the current generation, will be going well into the 2030s at this rate. There's just no choice. So to your point, devs have no choice but to optimize for, what are we talking now? Really like 7-year-old hardware. And they have no choice. They're going to have to.
Yeah. And they trained people this generation to hang on to their stuff longer. And I'd argue like the price situation now is worse than the shortages during COVID, because during COVID, the prices were good, but you just couldn't get the stuff. Now you can get the stuff, but it's like so ridiculously expensive. But if this year is an indication, that is a good silver lining, because so many games this year are so well optimized. Like Resident Evil, Pragmata, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Forza, 007's running phenomenally. Lego Batman is an Unreal Engine 5 game that runs great on the Steam Deck. Like, it's like every game this year has just been killer PC and console ports, except for like, there's always outliers, but the vast majority of what I've played this year has been the best optimized stuff pretty much this entire generation. So if that happens, I'm happy, because I'm a performance stickler, and it's been the least stressful year for me.
Little side note, because you mentioned 007, and I reviewed 007, and during most of the review period, I was thinking, man, it wasn't running that great on PC. Yeah. It was doing all this stuff, and then that day one patch came out like a couple days before launch. Night and day.
The one day one patch in history that worked. The only one. I was talking to Jake Baldino while he was reviewing it, and he was like telling me it wouldn't hold 60 on his 5090, and I was like, oh. And then I got it on my 9070 XT. It's running great. I was like, well, that's weird. The day one patch actually worked.
Yeah, I was running on a 5090, had DLSS maxed out, multi-frame, all that stuff, and it was barely getting over 100 frames, right? Like at 4K. And then all of a sudden that day one patch came out and it just like doubled in performance, and all the glitches and freezing, all that stuff went away. So again, to your point, hey, we're in a great age of optimization, because there you go. They got it. So by the time everyone had it available, it was perfectly optimized.
It's kind of shocking if you go back to that PlayStation State of Play they did where they revealed the gameplay. Go look at that. It was running horribly. Like, it was stuttering like all over the place. Like textures were popping in, and in just a few short months, they put in the work.
Yeah, they absolutely did.